way, there is a lot of Stephano fans in the audience, but there's a lot of MMA fans as well. Sure MMA is the international warrior.
I'm sure we'll hear them in just a moment here. Yep. There are our players for this matchup. Best of 3, starting out on Cloud Kingdom, MMA versus Stephano. The loading screen, or as I like to call it, the anticipation screen, has completed its journey from left to right. Almost. It's
going. It's going.
And it's still going. The anticipation is just building like crazy. Okay, there we go. Here we are in the game, and in the bottom left part of the map, in the blue, from the Team Slayers, it is MMA. There he is, and up at the top right part of the map, from France or USA, depending on how you want to look at it, is it our last foreigner? They're not even letting me say his name. It's Stephano. Fans are impatient. They want to cheer for Stephano right now. I can't blame him. So a TVZ on Cloud Kingdom. And, you know, one of the other things that I was going to talk about before the game started, but we were going to want to take a look for, too, is Stephano responding with a larger amount of roaches here against MMA. He's really been one of the best Zergs out there at shutting down that early Hellion pressure. If you go for, like, 4 to 6 Hellions against Stephano, he loves to just go for roaches, shut that down, deny your natural for a long time. So MMA is going to need to be careful because Reactored Hellions is kind of the standard opening right now in TVZ, and it seems like Stephano has kind of figured that out. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, those Hellions give you so much control as Terran. We have a barracks on the low ground.
It's, you know, back in the day, all right, here's the thing about the Makarax. Back in the day, it was always the second barracks. If it was at the natural, it was a Makarax. Now everybody just calls a barracks at the natural Makarax. So I guess it's a Makarax.
It depends here. Will that drone see that barracks as it was coming in? It looks like he's going back up to north, and he will see that barracks. So now he knows there is one on the low ground. Certainly now he could go up to the high ground and check to see if there's a second barracks or not. And let's see if he can get this SCV. It's actually tucked away nicely inside. So the drone now is going to make its way up into the main. And you know, the barracks on the low ground, it's not any kind of a bad play by MMA because, of course, you can just lift it off and replace the wall when you need to.
Well, this is very, very normal right now in Korean TVZ. The Terran players love to kind of put that barracks in kind of an odd place. You know, whether it's back farther in their base, out of the way, or just off to the side. They like to kind of mess with the Zerg early on, make them think, all right, is this some sort of proxy build? Am I getting 2 racks here? Is there another one hidden somewhere? But Stephano, I don't think he's being fazed by this at all.
The other cute thing about that, too, is if you see that first barracks down there, you might think to yourself as a Zerg, hey, there might be another barracks, and I just don't know where it is on the map. So Stephano might be a little bit phased right now, but I think he'll be able to compose himself well enough. And he's got a spawning pool and extractor on the way. This is, of course, following the hatchery, so Stephano is, of course, going for that quick expansion style that we would all hope to see.
Yep, that's right. So, looks like he will be going for that relatively quick Zergling speed as well, and I'm really going to pay attention to see if he keeps the drones on gas. He probably won't, but if he does, then I would say that's a good indication that we will see some earlier roaches here. MMA going up to 2 gas right away as well after starting that command center, so probably going to see those Reactored Hellions coming out eventually from him, but he does have a couple different choices.
Yeah, he could actually go into Blue Flame if he chose to. He could go into a quick starport for medevacs.
Oh, look at that. Well. MMA, is he actually going to get this Overlord?
That Overlord is actually tucked to the left. The Marine is starting to take a couple of shots on it, Doa. It is at 30 HP.
Oh, Stephano doesn't want this.
A spot where the Overlord could hide.
Oh, man.
And I think...
Oh, no, it's a 12 hit points.
Oh, my goodness. And 2 more shots from the Marine will finish it off.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Is there actually a sweet spot there you can save the Overlord from?
Wow, very nice by Stephano.
Wow.
And, you know, the nice thing about that Overlord spot as well is it's going to be able to catch medevac drops that go through the left side of the map. That's a great spot for blocking, essentially, the medevac drop lanes.
Yeah, and look at that reactor on the barracks. So it looks like MMA with that factory nearby will be going for Reactored Hellions, and already a Roach Warren on the way for Stephano, getting that Spine Crawler as well for defense. So, yeah, I think he's going to be actually just fine against this. We may even see that really fast Roach aggression from Millennium Stephano here.
Well, it depends how much larva he saves up, how much gas and minerals he has. He's currently at 150.
Marines really want to kill this Overlord, man.
I know, man.
They're trying to get that away.
It is actually tucked to the left. Oh, 2 Marines there. That Overlord will go down.
Oh, man. So that's another 100 gas that Stephano's going to need to spend early on in this game. It could be worse, but that 100 gas, that 100 minerals could be better spent for him right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, back inside of MMA's main, he's adding on a second and a third barracks to follow up the reactor factory.
Yeah.
Not quite utilizing that gas he's got yet. It's now sitting at 300 gas. That's actually kind of interesting.
It's an extraordinary amount of gas for MMA. Yeah, we're probably going to see a lot of upgrades coming in here.
I would imagine so. Double engineering bay, bunch of upgrades.
Now, Stephano has produced a lot of roaches here and some Zerglings as well. Zergling speed also just finished, so we are going to see some aggression here from Stephano. A lot of Zerglings being made. In fact, an MMA playing very safe. He's already walled off, so he could be okay. If he sees the roaches ahead of time, he can pull SCVs to try to defend. This is going to be a tense moment, though, for Slayers MMA.
Yeah, those roaches are certainly making their way across the map. Meanwhile, 2 Hellions potentially going to make their way in, but a Spine Crawler is at a perfect position.
I don't think he's seen the roaches yet. He doesn't know this is coming. Here we go.
Yeah.
The roaches coming into the natural expansion. The SCVs in position to repair. And I don't know if Stephano has enough here. Oh, he catches the Hellions. That's going to be a lot of map control loss for MMA. Wow, 1 Hellion mercifully spared. Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. I think Stephano's going to clean that up. And nice job, really, by him, because now he's got absolute bone-crushing map control. He can dictate the pace of the game. The Terran is now locked inside of 2 bases. And let's see if Stephano gets that starport. He is, in fact, getting it on the reactor, originally at the front of his wall. So he's going to try to get a bunch of medevacs out here and start to mobilize that army.
Look at that. 2 Marauders in that bunker, though, is going to be just absolutely perfect for MMA. He's got SCVs in position. Stephano, though, taking advantage of this, taking a 3rd base, and also feeling pretty smug, I'm guessing, about making MMA lose that mining time with those 5 or so SCVs. But now what MMA is going into is something that we see from a lot of Korean Terran players right now, going into largely Marine medevac play, and then adding on the tanks a little bit later. So now's the point in the game where Stephano's going to need to worry about defending that 3rd base. He's going to need to worry about drops. He's going to want to use those Zerglings now to spread out across the map, make sure he can see things coming, and if he can do that, he will be in a great position to go into that later game. He is also getting +1/+1 for his Zerglings, so possibly an indication that we're going to see an infestation pit pretty soon.
Well, this is exactly what I was expecting to see from both players. MMA going for that drop-heavy style that he's so famous for, adding on the siege tanks later, as you mentioned before, and then Stephano quickly rushing the +1/+1. Yes, Stephano most likely will be getting some infestors out to follow this up. It is the natural transition, and where he goes from the hive is up to him. Meanwhile, it looks like MMA is pushing out into the middle of the map with some of his troops. He can definitely load up these guys into the medevac and drop into the 3rd or potentially the main as well. And Stephano is going to need to get some roaches and Zerglings in position in order to deflect this drop.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay here. A very, very important thing for MMA that he has those medevacs along with this. This is a small group of Marines and Marauders otherwise, and he's going to need to be able to lift and get away if things get bad. As you notice, Stephano not going to be able to do a lot of damage to air here, so this is a very safe push by Slayers MMA, and here we go.
Here we go. The Marines falling back to the corner. Decent surround,
micro.
But it looks like MMA is going to back out. He doesn't allow the Zerglings to surround him, and now going back up on the ramp, MMA looking to be in a pretty good position here. Those Marauders certainly doing decent damage to the roaches. But Stephano bringing reinforcements, and that will force them to go away.
MMA maybe losing a few more units than he needed to there, but he does pull up in time and get away. Stephano with a great defense at home here, droning up and producing a few more links and roaches at the same time. And look at this, MMA so well known for his drops, but Stephano totally ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the nice thing of having overlords in the perimeters of the map. And you can see that overlord at the 12 spotted the medevac coming in. Those Zerglings are hot in pursuit of that medevac.
Wish they had a jump upgrade.
If they could jump, they'd probably take that medevac out. But
that's right.
It looks like MMA is not going to have an opportunity to drop here, and he is going to pull back.
Yep, a little bit of Viking harass here, picks off an overlord. Does supply block Stephano actually for just a moment, but the real benefit of this Viking is, of course, seeing things, the map control that he's going to get to it. I like that MMA is getting those double upgrades as well. He's one of the only Terran players out there that really does that. We see him do it in a lot of his matchups, actually, and it makes just a very strong late mid-game for him.
You know, that's a really good idea against a player like Stephano, too, who you usually, as a Terran player, will find yourself behind in upgrades.
You have to keep up.
If you keep up, man, then it's going to be a much better position for you. Well, here comes MMA trying to do a little bit of damage, but it is going to be quickly pushed away. And you know what? Stephano has done an excellent job at deflecting the harass. This is how MMA wins games. He has to harass, he has to kill drones, and so far that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the pre-game interview that they were asked if they had done their homework against the other player, MMA, clearly doing his. You know, the double upgrade style is something that he does, but it's not terribly common. It's something that he generally pulls out in situations where he really feels like he needs it. This is the perfect situation for it. And MMA with that very safe third base. It looks like we're going to go into a bit later TVZ here.
Yeah, absolutely. Do note that MMA is adding on the siege tanks now. He had siege mode researching. He's added on a bunch of tech labs back at home, 2 factories in fact.
That's
so
right.
as we said before, Doa, the siege tanks are going to start to make their appearance in this game. By the way, Stephano keeping up in tech because he's going to have infestors coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, and we probably will see the hive fairly soon after that. So when Stephano sees just the emphasis that MMA is putting on siege tanks and things like that, I think he's going to be very, very tempted to throw down Aspire 2 and go for Broodlords. So difficult to engage those well spread out tank lines with things like Ling, Infest, or Ultra, especially on a map like that. And yeah, there's Aspire right now from Stephano, so it looks like he will be going towards Broodlord tech. 2 more bases actually by Stephano as well. You know, here's what happens when you can't put a lot of pressure on a Zerg player like Stephano.
Absolutely.
You can really start taking a lot of bases, get a huge economy going. Both of these players still looking pretty good in this matchup. And I gotta say, I'm really shocked. MMA about 20 supply up right now. Talk about macro. Wow.
Yeah, well, the thing here is MMA is going to try to do a little bit of drop action as well to get further in the lead in terms of supply. He's flying over to the top left, and we'll see where that medevac goes. And you know what? MMA needs to start to do some more damage. He hasn't been able to get in there and kill off drones yet, so keep your eye out because pretty soon those medevacs are going to make their way in. And it looks like there is a potential attack here at this hatchery. The Marines are a little too far away, though. They'll have to load inside the medevac.
He could try to defend some bases and things like that, do a little drop play here and there as we see. But overall, I think MMA is going to need to kind of wait until the late game at this point. It's too easy.
Oh, those infestors are coming in. What a fungal growth by the infestors. Good job by Stephano.
Wow.
He will pick off all those Marines and the medevac without any losses at all.
Stephano just very ready for this. MMA doing some damage to this hatchery. Will Stephano's units get back there in time? I think they're going to get there just in time, but this hatchery will be reduced to a little bit under half-life, so that's going to be something that MMA can come and capitalize on a little bit later in the game. 106 Zerglings out right now for Stephano, and with those upgrades, that is a lot of damage.
That is the Stephano-style mass Zerglings, and then hold out until you can get to hive tech. But, you know, one thing I want to note here, and we as commentators always point this out, it's the creep spread. Stephano's creep spread this game has been a little bit lackluster. He's only connected one of his outside bases.
Stephano losing a couple lings there, maybe thinking that he caught a little bit smaller of a group of Marines unawares, but now he knows that this push is coming at one of his expansions. And how will he defend for it? I love that he has enough stuff at home to defend against the drops.
Yeah, here comes those Marines and tanks. They are about to start to hit that hatchery. The tanks providing good cover fire for the Marines, and the hatchery will get picked down.
Medevac! Oh, lucky break for MMA there, but that Corruptor could end that lucky break very quickly. That medevac is
dangerously low.
Yeah. MMA moving ahead with his army. He is maxed out right now. Fantastic macro from MMA. Maxing out so quickly.
Yeah, and he has a timing window to strike here before Stephano can realize any hive units. He is making 5 Broodlords right now. They are morphing in their cocoons. It'll take some time for them to come out. Will MMA decide to make a strike or not, or will he just hold his position outside the Zerg bases, attacking over to the left once again as well, and that hatchery is taking some fire, but the fungal will keep that safe.
World's bravest medevac there. Getting taken out. He'll be remembered in song, I'm sure. Somebody will write that, but
all right, well, the Broodlords now are coming out, Doa. And you know what? There isn't much Viking production from MMA at all.
MMA is not very well prepared,
Yeah, those Broodlords are going to come as a pretty big shock to MMA's army, and MMA now has to fall back. Broodling chasing the tanks away. There's another drop. Meanwhile, that drop was deflected.
These drops not doing a whole lot, and that's why we see MMA pulling back, too. He knows he doesn't have the army to engage those Broodlords that Stephano has, really. And look at this. 0 workers killed in this game. What are the chances of that? Wow.
Yeah, there hasn't really been that much harass this game at all.
I guess so.
And we'll see that number skyrocket pretty soon.
Big doom drop on the way for MMA. 4 medevacs filled with Marines. We'll have to see where he decides to send that. Stephano, though, looking really, really good here. And now MMA is in a bit of an uncomfortable situation. That's about to get
tanks
more
taking some
uncomfortable.
serious damage. And it looks like MMA will be able to pull back. Of course, that's a great choke to hide behind. Those rocks are still there. Here comes that doom drop with the 4 medevacs.
I don't know if Stephano's going to be quite prepared for this drop from MMA. He's going to have to deal with that and a push. Going after that planetary with Zerglings. He's just got Zerglings to burn here. And here's the big drop from MMA. Going after everything, but what a great positioning. You cannot engage that with Zerglings right now. He's going to need to wait.
Yeah, that's a really good spot with the buildings there, helping the Terran player out. Here comes the Corruptors coming back to help deflect this attack. Fungal Growth could come out and seal the deal here for Stephano to hold the defense. And meanwhile, another attack over a different MMA showing how good his multitasking is, attacking multiple locations, and that hatchery gets picked off.
Stephano down to just 2 bases here right now. He's remaking another one up in the upper left, but it's going to be a while before that is in action. I feel like Stephano is being forced in a situation where he's going to have to make an attack he doesn't want to make, and he needs to cancel this hatchery.
He did not get the cancel.
Doesn't cancel it.
300 minerals down the drain for Stephano. Now it looks like that medevac unloading, and it's going to go ahead and bring some of its forces into the natural. MMA is all over the map right now, and this is the question. Can Stephano keep up in multitasking?
This is what has made MMA so deadly in TVZ. This multitasking, this drop play that just doesn't stop. And Stephano, really just being forced into a position where he needs to attack. MMA, is he ready for this counterattack, though?
I don't even really know if I agree with the Thor's production out of MMA right now. He's adding Thors, and Thors aren't that great against Brood Lords. They're good against Mutas. Yeah, he needs some anti-air, but I would have liked him to just focus down on Viking production. This could be pretty bad for MMA once those Thors come out and they realize, you know what? Broodlings are surrounding me.
Late game TVZ can be a very tricky situation right now for Terrans after the Ghost nerf. A lot of Terrans still trying to sort of figure things out to a certain extent. They're like, all right, do I go Ghost Viking? Do I just go Viking? We've actually seen a lot of Terran players start to add on Thors. You can kind of AoE the Corruptor groups, but it's just tough. Terran players right now, they're in a very experimental phase in late game TVZ, and we're kind of seeing that right now. MMA sort of puzzling through things. Luckily for him, he's been doing really, really good with the multitasking, with the drops. He's bought himself plenty of time here. Both players still largely maxed out right now.
By the way, I do want to mention Stephano's worker count only at 55. He doesn't have that many drones, but that of course means he has more army than most Zergs would have at this point in the game. Here comes those Corruptors just kind of chasing away the tanks, and the Zergies are coming in. They might be able to get us around on a couple of these tanks. Those tanks in a precarious spot. And MMA falls back to the rest of his army down the ramp, and Stephano decides not to pursue.
You know, what may look like hesitation and uncertainty from Stephano, I think is actually just brilliant, patient play. You don't want to get your army separated. You need everything to stay with the Brood Lords. Now Stephano is ready to make this push. MMA pushing at the top of the map as well.
And here comes Stephano. Gets surrounded. Fungal Growth going down after the Marines. The Vikings are getting attacked by Corruptors as well. The Brood Lords clearing the path on the ground. But Stephano will pull back, once again playing it safe. And it looks like there's another attack over at the other hatchery. Stephano taking some damage here, but he's quickly able to reinforce. Will he keep the hatchery alive? It's going down.
It gets taken out by MMA. Stephano just barely not getting back there in time. Oh no, the Brood Lords are caught unawares. Those Vikings might kill every single one of them.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Stephano making a blunder here, leaving his Brood Lords away from the rest of his army, but he brings his infestors back
the fungal.
to save the Brood Lords.
Oh wow. Barely saving that infestor.
Nice job by Stephano to react in time. Now he gets a great fungal on those Vikings.
That's huge. The Corruptors coming in.
They're all going to go down to these Corruptors, Doa, and it looks like Stephano is in a fantastic spot after destroying a bunch of Vikings and, of course, saving his Brood Lords.
MMA does not know about that top left expansion HD. He needs to scout a little bit better this game here, continuing to try to drop it. At this point, Stephano still looking okay. MMA, though, with that 4th base and a 5th there, as soon as this Zergling is eliminated, is going to be able to sort of get his economy rolling again. Still a very close game here. Stephano, though, certainly on the defensive at this point.
Yeah, Stephano is also a little bit, while he does have the hatchery at the top left, he is kind of running out of money now. He's only got 2 real mining bases. And he gets a good fungal. Will he save the hatchery?
1 hit point!
Wow!
1 hit point for that hatchery.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and he needs that too. He needs that hatchery to stay alive.
Wouldn't surprise me to see him bring some queens and transfuse it, just give a quick band-aid to the hatchery.
Man. That'd be my
That's pretty close. I mean, MMA could be thinking right now, I'm just going to send a Marine over there and finish it off.
Overmind would be like, hey, Queens, if any of you have any extra energy, we could use you on this hatchery.
Yep, absolutely, Zoa. And here comes some Zerglings running around the left. They will flank the Marines and pick them off. Infestors getting a great fungal growth on the SCVs.
Man, the SCVs.
Chains fumbling them down. There isn't any units in range.
And look at this, though. Denying another base is Millennium Stephano. He's still down in supply, but still very much in this game. At any moment, the balance of power could shift, though. The smallest mistake by either one of these players is going to make a huge difference. You can see Stephano, too, really, really trying to make sure that hatchery lives. It's so important.
One thing I'm noticing right now is Stephano is running, as I said before, out of money.
Oh, no.
He doesn't have that much minerals. There is an
MMA.
attack over to the left. This is a fantastic spot to siege up. It's choked and bottled up, and this hatchery is a goner. There's no way Stephano can save this in time. All of his units are on the right-hand side of the map, and at this point, Stephano has got to go for a huge attack. That's his chance.
Oh no, some Marauders coming up. You know what they do, HD?
Yeah,
they were born to kill buildings.
Especially
and here they go.
HP
he gets it.
Oh, it goes
Oh
down.
man.
Now Stephano has to make this counter work, Doa. He has to do significant damage. Otherwise, he's going to find himself way too far behind in this game. He doesn't have any more mining. He's running out of minerals. He's going in here with all of his troops. The planetary fortress being repaired by a horde of SCVs and infested Terrans coming down on the low ground, trying to absorb shots.
Planetary
But
getting
Stephano
low.
can he break
repairs.
it? Yeah, the repairs just keeping that planetary fortress up to 56
Wow.
kills.
MMA with the epic defense at this fourth base. This base is also very important as well. It's getting lower, the SCV count. 67 kills on that planetary.
Yeah, that planetary has an absurd number of kills right now. I don't know if Stephano can break this PF down. It looks like the SCV is
MMA
still
again.
repairing. Can he get the planetary fortress or not?
He gets it. He gets it, but he's going to lose his natural expansion as well. Stephano needs to win with this army now, and I don't know if he can. Look at the income there in the upper left part of the screen. MMA has something, Stephano has nothing for minerals.
Well, those Marines and Marauders are now inside his main as well, sniping off his Spire and his Greater Spire. Infestor should be able to save that, so that attack will be thwarted,
You know,
it looks like.
It was a valiant effort by Stephano, but it looks like MMA is in prime position to finish off this match, or finish off this game, rather.
Yeah, MMA is just looking really, really good right now. He won the game of economy. He was able to starve out Stephano. Stephano ran out of bases, and now what you see from Stephano is what you got. Like before, he had 1 HP hatchery. Now he's got 1 mineral, and that's it. It just went up.
Oh, Tank's taking a little bit of fire from that high ground. He does manage to fungal a few.
Not bad, not
Stephano
bad.
taking every little advantage he can possibly get. But, the Viking count just so high right now. The last Broodlord's going down. MMA looks like he may be about to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It really looks like MMA's going to take the first W here.
We'll
Down
see.
in the
There
lower
it
bracket.
is.
There's the GG.
Slayers MMA with some fantastic Terran versus Zerg. What a close